Hello crafters, Raquel here with Paints and Glitter. I am here to introduce you today to the latest craft kit from Tonic Studios. Let's open this up and see what's inside. If you're not familiar with Tonic Studios craft kit, the first thing that I'm going to tell you is that you get a wallet that includes exclusive dies and stamps to the kit. You're also going to get a wallet with a sampler of papers and a little bag of goodies that are from Craft Perfect and Nuvo in each and every kit. So what I've done is I've already taken the dies out and I've placed them in one of these magnetic sleeves that you can purchase separately from Tonic Studios. So I'll go through that, but normally you'd have them right inside this little wallet. And you'll have your instructions, your exclusive stamps, so we'll go through that, and also this darling little sticker that gives you a little heads up as to what you're going to find inside. So this kit is called Just the Way You Are. Isn't that so darling? So you can go ahead and place your little sticker on your folder, just like that. And I like to house my little stamps inside, and then that way I can keep myself really nice and organized. So let's take a look at the stamps. Again, these are exclusive to the kit. It says, "You're my main squeeze. You're the very best," with the letter B. So punny sentiment. "Have a sweet day. You're the zest." And here you see some citrus fruits and what looks to be a little orange or maybe a tangerine, a little lemon, and then the little flowers and leaves to go with, and then these sliced fruits, and then another little flower over here. Super adorable, perfect for card making. And then this kit has these really pretty dies. You will be able to make a little 3D project with this, or you can use it, of course, for card making. So let's just go through these. And the first thing that I'll show you is that this square here is going to create the base of your little box, and of course I'm going to show you how to make it. Then you have this little front panel, and it has this darling little decoration here, and if you can tell, there's a little heart right in the center here, and I love all of this little detail on the bottom. So of course, depending on the colors that you use, you can switch that up and make it however you like. There's this piece here that's going to come in handy, and then another square here. And you have this little rectangle that's going to allow you to place some little sentiments on your project. And these will deboss right into the paper. And it says, "Have the best day. I love you. Just the way you are." And the word way is W-E-I-G-H. So another punny sentiment. And then the orange, "You sweet," with the word for the fruit. And speaking of fruit, here's the rest of this. This is also going to be part of the little basket that you'll be able to create. And this actually creates a scale, so it's really adorable. This portion here is going to come in handy along with these little measuring pins, is what I'm going to call them. And then you also, as you can tell, get the leaves and a strawberry with the little topper there, another little lemon, and then the little pieces of fruit that you can cut along with some little flowers. Super adorable. Here's the little sample, by the way. So isn't that so sweet? And what I like about this is you right away here get to see what that's going to look like once you put it all together. And then there's a list here of all of the papers, so that if you want to reorder these, you can order them in packs of 5 or 10, depending on the type of paper. So let's go through all of these here. You're going to get some classic card. You're going to get a mustard yellow, a grass green, pure view. I'm sorry, this is the pure view. This is the darker of the two blues. Okay, so you get 2 sheets of that. You get a classic card in cornflower blue, and that's so very pretty as well. You're going to get also apricot orange. You're going to get grass green. You're going to get champagne, and you're going to get sugared coral. And I think I mentioned mustard yellow. So that's all of the classic card. This has a linen weave on one side and then a smooth side, so that if you decide to do any stamping or heat embossing, then that'll be the surface you want to do that on. You're also going to get some gorgeous glitter card I love the glitter card from Tonic Studios because aside from the fact that it is quite large, it also has a really beautiful covering on it. This almost has a little holographic shine to it. If you see that against the light, it's so pretty. And it doesn't flake all over the place like other papers. So it is wonderful for die cutting. And it really gives you a nice result. Then let's take a look here. What else is included? And by the way, there are no tiers of prices. You get all of this for one price. And if you do want to be a subscriber, you can subscribe with 2 different types of subscriptions. And you can even skip a kit if one is not to your liking with no penalty. Or you can just purchase a one-off. All of the kits mail out at the beginning of the month. And you have up until the 18th of the month to decide on your purchase. So here, right off the bat, you can see you get some adorable Nuvo product. I'm going to go ahead and open these. I'm seeing a crystal drop in the color Morning Dew. So this is going to be clear, and this is going to be excellent for your little fruits so that you can make them look really nice and juicy. So there's also a glitter drop in the color Ruby Slippers. So if you want to add some shine to your strawberries, for instance, that's going to be really pretty with that. And then you have some practical pieces here that are going to help you craft because you're making a 3D little basket. So this is going to be the Craft Perfect double-sided tissue tape, and it is 6mm wide, so it's going to be perfect. You get a whole 25 meters worth of that. And then this beautiful set of tweezers. It does come with this protective portion here. And you can use this to hold on to your very thin little papers. For instance, the little flowers that you're going to be cutting, or those little needles that are going to create that scale portion. This is going to be the perfect tool for that. And if you like flower shaping, this is an excellent set of tweezers for that. And then last but not least, you get a sampling of Nuvo alcohol markers. These pack a punch when it comes to color. They do have a wide nib on one end, and that is that chisel nib that allows you to color wider portions of your paper. And then you do get the bullet nib on the other end, and they are in the colors Bright Sunflower, so they coordinate perfectly with the papers in your kit. Lemon Drops, love the name of that. You're going to get Fresh Watermelon. You're going to get Spiced Orange, and then Persian Lime. So that way you can definitely just get started on coloring all of the little fruits and everything if you decide to cut them out of white cardstock. So I'm going to start the tutorial next, so stay with me and we'll make one of these baskets together. To begin, we're going to be cutting 4 pieces of card using the smallest square available in your die set. As you can see, I have cut those out using Peer View card, and I've also taken this rectangular die that I'm pointing out, and I have cut out yet another 4 pieces. This is going to create the little basket onto which you will be adding the fruit in your 3D make. And then you can see that there are some matching layers. What I have done is that to decorate my little basket here, I've taken the solid die available here, and I've cut out 4 pieces of white card. Those are the background layers, and that's using just that smooth die there. Then I've paired both of those dies together, and I've cut out the cornflower blue card, and that's what I use as the decorative layer right on top. Then, using only that decorative die, I did cut out red cardstock that I then inlaid into all of those little decorative pieces. I did go ahead and use that same outer die. I cut out a piece of acetate that was the carrier sheet onto which all of the dies were adhered in the kit. I just like to recycle materials, and it's optional, but I think it's going to lend a really pretty look to this. So I am now going to take all of these pretty layers, and I am going to adhere them to these base pieces. And if you would like to, you can also adhere a solid layer on the inside. Once you've put this all together, it's really up to you and the type of look that you want to go for. But I really think that this adds not only sturdiness, but a really beautifully finished look to your project. This is the last little panel here. And once all of those are adhered, I do like to burnish them using the paper creaser to make sure I get good adhesion. Now I'm only going to take one of the little square bases, and onto that little square I'm going to apply adhesive to one of the side panels. I'm going to make sure that it's lined up right to that edge, and then I'm going to be adhering these rectangular panels all the way around on every side, making sure that I press really nicely and that those edges meet. Once you have all 4 of these adhered on all 4 sides, you can now flip this over, take a second square, and this is going to hide all of those seams and those tabs on the inside of your basket, and also provide a bit more stability, so you can adhere it right on the base. And of course burnish that as well. And now I notice that these tabs on the edges are not necessary to have all of them. So what I did is I took my Tim Holtz scissors here, and they just have a nice sharp edge, and I decided to cut away one of the tabs from every one of the rectangular sides, just cutting right toward the bottom using that score line as a guide. So of course you could do that before you adhere them to that base. I just hadn't noticed, to be honest. So now I'm just going to go ahead and adhere those tabs to the adjacent panel, and this is going to help create the little basket. I'm just going to go ahead and choose the little tab on the side. Make sure that they are lined up from the top to the bottom really precisely, so you may have to hold on to this paper. Make sure it's a nice snug fit, so you make sure you pull it if you need to, and just also ensure that the little sides don't overlap, but that they meet precisely on the top and the bottom. Once this is complete, you can of course cover the inside as I had mentioned before and decorate it, but make sure that you've allowed this some time to dry, and now you can go ahead and place that little piece cut out of acetate in the center. It's going to provide a little bit of stability, and it's also going to give you a little landing place for some of that adorable fruit. So I'm taking advantage of those tweezers because I had placed the 3mm wide red line adhesive that you can also get from Tonic Studios just on the edges. And now I'm going to place this, trying to center it as best as I can. And with the precision paper creaser, I'm just going to apply some pressure where I know the adhesive is. And then I'm going to do the same on both sides, just trying to make sure I line it up precisely, as centered as possible here. And now I have a place to also add, whether it be some little candies in this basket or just proceed to decorate it as I like. But now we're going to move along, and using this thin strip that you see here, it has little tabs and score lines that you're going to fold and burnish. So all you have to do is fold every single tab away from you, and then the center score lines of course as well. Then you have a tiny little tab at one end. Go ahead and fold that, apply a little drop of adhesive, and then join this to the other end. Apply some pressure here and then press on that until it's dry. Then you're going to see that this creates a little bit of a cube, and this is going to be part of your assembly, but let's set that aside and let it dry. You're now going to take 4 of these pieces. You will have cut these out also if you want to match it up, of course. If you're using the pure view as I am, you can cut up all 4 out of the same color. You're going to see that I have 2 panels here to decorate it that match. So what I've done is the same thing. I use the base panel in white, the decorative panel in cornflower blue and then did the inlay using the red paper. You can use the dies included for that. And then this third one is a little bit different. I use this piece here, and with that piece you have the option to place that little die right on top of that uppermost layer, that cornflower blue paper, and it's going to create the little dial. So you can of course then adhere the little needle, because this is a scale and you get to decide how heavy that is. But moving on to this fourth panel, I'm going to share with you how you can make a box out of this. So here's the base panel in the peer view. I went ahead and cut the decorative layer out of the cornflower blue, and then I actually did place that paper right on top of the base. So just imagine this is all one piece of paper. Then I took that die and placed it right on top. And what I did was that before I ran that through my die cutting machine, I used my low-tack tape, placed it on top, and then once I ran that through my machine, it did cut through both layers of paper. I'm able to remove that die, and now I have the piece that is going to match. And all I did was cut away that center portion because I wanted it to be decorative. I cut off the little edge, and now I can layer this right on top, and I'll just be able to adhere it so that I can decorate this portion. And I hope that's self-explanatory. Of course, if you do have any questions, feel free to reach out through the comments and I'll be more than happy to respond. But this can layer right on top. And then you can see that there's those little edges, but one of them did not cut. And that's because this creates a little door. So what I do is I purposely fold it toward what will be the inside of the box, and this way it doesn't inadvertently open. And now I can layer this as a decorative portion just to kind of highlight that little door. And there's a little holes there that you can thread with a little cord or a little ribbon, but be sure to fold and burnish the two edges because you will be using those to adhere this piece to the others that will create the base. And all you have to do now is go ahead and decorate the other three while the paper is still flat. It'll make it much easier. This one here needs that little needle because it's going to be the front of the little scale. So I'm first going to prep this. I'm now going to take the tweezers included in the kit, and these come in really handy because of course when you're holding these tiny pieces of paper, sometimes you want to double them up, and that's what I like to do when I'm creating my projects, is I will cut purposely the paper more than one time so that way I get a nice sturdy finish. And I'm just selecting one of them to go ahead and decorate the front here. You get to decide how heavy is the scale, how much fruit did you place in there. So you can have some fun with this. Now I left mine white as you see there, but you can definitely add little colors into that as well. So now I'm just adhering the third panel here. Now that you've decorated your little panels here, you're going to want to order these in this manner, and this is going to be the front, side, back, and side. And you're now going to want to adhere these panels to each other. So just be mindful of the fact that you want to match the top and bottom precisely, and this is at an angle. Put those two together, let them dry a moment, and then do these two if you like. Make sure you apply pressure to this paper. If you want to, you can flip it over, burnish that. Do the same here. These two will join in the center. And lastly, you have your fourth edge, and these will join together here. Now that you have your little bottom portion of your scale fully adhered, you're going to have the largest square remaining and the two small squares. What you're going to do is that you're going to adhere one of the small squares right inside, okay? It's going to go right underneath those 4 tabs. The way that I'm going to do it is that I'm going to apply adhesive to the actual tabs. So I think I'm going to fold them up first. And this is personal preference, of course, as to whether or not you want to do it this way. I think it's going to be a little bit easier. But if you find a way that works better for you, then by all means. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and fold them all down, and then take my little square and I'm going to just let that fall right inside. I'm going to do it pretty side down. Not that anyone's going to see it, but just going to burnish all 4 of those sides. Once my little square is in there, it's going to give this a bit of stability, of course, while I'm placing the base of this box together. And that's where the larger square is going to come in handy. Okay. I'm now going to take that large square, and I have my tabs already prepped with the double-sided adhesive. And I'm going to take the liner off of one edge. I'm going to place it right inside, avoiding the decorative edge of the box, okay? Because what you don't want to do is have this overlap. You just want it close enough to the bottom, but avoiding that decorative edge. I am going to burnish that in place using my paper creaser. Okay. I now have one edge fully adhered, and now I'm just going to start taking off that liner from the other edges one at a time. So just be patient with it. Make sure that it's right inside, just hopefully you can see there, just above that little decorative edge. You can apply pressure, do your third side. It should fall right in. You can squeeze the box a little bit if you need to, so that it falls right inside. Okay. Just apply gentle pressure. And then for that 4th side, I'm just going to take my little pokey tool and I'm going to aim right underneath that adhesive liner. That's going to help me pull that right out. And then I can just pull that right back in there and apply a little bit of pressure. And now all 4 sides are nice and even. Hopefully you can see that. So you can burnish that a little bit more if you'd like to. Just be careful not to push it too hard. You don't want to cave that in. But now that's all the way around on the inside. And of course we have our little opening. And we have a nice substantial little gift box in here. I think it's so cute. But let's cover this up because we want this to be nice and clean. And that's where the 4th little square comes in. This is going to go right to the edge now, creating a really nice, sturdy little box. And I think just this alone would be super cute as a little gift box for maybe goodies for a little birthday. Because of course you can decorate this using solid papers, omitting the actual scale portion of this. And I just think it's so pretty. Okay, so now let's look at the front of this. We're going to take our little cube that we had created, and we're going to center this. Apply some adhesive on all 4 tabs. And this is going to go right in the middle. It's going to create that lift between this bottom portion and the scale basket. Once you're happy with the placement of that, apply a little bit more adhesive right on top on the 4 tabs. I'm being a little bit generous there. And our little basket is going to go right on top. So again, you can pick which part of this do you want to be the front, but just make sure you're aiming so that your little basket is centered as you're applying pressure. Just take a look all the way around. So that you get good placement on there. And I always say if you need a little more adhesive on any one of those papers, you can kind of sneak it in there with your needle tip applicator. That applicator is a lifesaver. It really is. They come in handy, so if you don't already have them for your glue, please do yourself a favor and grab them. Okay, look at how pretty that is. I really, really like this. Okay, there are so many cute little fruits that you can have fun with this stamp and die set. So take a look at here what I've done. I've cut out a bunch of little fruits, and I did stamp some little oranges. So I wanted them to look like little tangerines. They just reminded me of my sons when they were little. I would give them those little sweet tangerines to take to school. So you can have a little basket full of those. You can place them anywhere you like. You can do the little strawberries, and on your little die set there, you can go ahead and assemble the strawberry by taking one of the little berries and cutting them out in red as I've done here. And then there's this little leaf that you'll be able to cut out. All I did was place a little bead of adhesive right on that berry. And the 2 dies are going to cut out that really beautiful texture there. And of course, you can back this up with a second color if you'd like to. You can also use the little flowers, as you see here, whichever way you like. You can double it up, or you can use a singular flower. Okay. And I just applied a little drop of adhesive on a strawberry, and using the tweezers, it helps so much for placement. And then you can also fluff up that little flower if you'd like to give it some dimension. So pretty. Then there are the other dies that you can use to cut out little lemons or limes. You can add a little leaf to the little lemons if you'd like to. There's this shape here, which if you couple it with this one, you can make another slice of fruit, whatever you want that to be, or you can make it into a little kumquat just by adding a little bit of green on one little end there. Then here with these, I cut them out using the cardstock in the kit, but I did cut that lime green paper out of white, and then I did use the Persian lime to color it, and then just layered it right behind that, so it's really nice and bright. And then I made some other fruits by, as you can see here, layering the papers, but I didn't want to take it too seriously, so I did color them in using the spiced orange on just some of those little pieces there. And then that shine that you see is from the Nuvo Crystal Drops in Morning Dew that I just added to some of these just to give it a little bit of that fruity shine that everybody likes. They're so pretty. And of course there's so many other little leaves, and then you can use the shapes on their own, however you'd like to decorate this. So I am going to go ahead and add these to my little basket, just here and there. I'm going to gauge how it is that I want this to look, and then I'll be back when I have this filled. And I'm also going to show you the sentiment that I picked out. And this one says, "Have the best day." What I did is I used gold mirror card, and then the die will deboss the sentiment right in there. And then I layered it with a piece of red card, and I just used a little piece of foam adhesive there just to make that pop. And that's going to go right on the front. I'm going to fill this up and then I'll be right back. Here is the result of the little box, and I went ahead and placed some little candies in here just to share with you that yes, you can go ahead and fill this in however you like, and there's quite a bit of room in here, so let me show you. Of course, these are just demo candies that I happen to have, but you can fit quite a bit there. But let me show you what it looks like just fully decorated from the front. How darling is that? You can add quite a bit of volume here depending on how you place the little fruits. So let me show you the side. I did go ahead and decorate this using the little lemon, the lime, a little leaf there, some flowers, and that little half-cut piece of fruit. Then on the back, I did tie it close using a piece of twine from Tonic Studios that you can get. There are several different colors, and this one is the red and white, which I thought looked really nice with the combination of colors. And then let me show you the back here, because I wanted you to see how you can place the same little fruits or different ones right behind the ones that you have placed facing forward, because they are mirror images of each other, and then that way you get a pretty view from the front or the back or the side of your project. I think that's really important, and the only fruits I didn't repeat were the strawberries, but that is because I think they look just fine as they are. But there's the other side profile. I used a little strawberry, a lime, some little flowers, and I did use actually the buttermilk drop for the center of all of those little white flowers, and I just thought it would be a nice subtle little touch. Then the sentiment, "Have the best day," is doubled up there on the top. Super duper cute. I love all of the little fruits there. And then I did create a separate video tutorial for you showing you how you can create all three of these cards that I'm about to show you using the kit. I did supplement it just a tiny bit, so I'll go over these. But the first one is this one here. It's a little shaker card, and I didn't add a whole lot of the little shaker bits in there. But in any case, it is a small panel. I stamped the fruit on here twice. Then I did use the dies to cut into that white panel. I backed that up with a piece of acetate, and then the third little fruit I popped right on top. And then these little pieces here are left over from the fruit that I had cut using the dies. Super easy. I colored it using the markers in the kit, and this sentiment reads, "You're the zest." I also stamped the little envelopes to match. I like to do that so the recipient knows that there's something a little special inside. And then of course you can stamp the inside of your little cards. I just use a very subtle green ink from Tonic to go ahead and do that. The second card is this, and they're all three the same size, by the way. This one also has the same beautiful glitter card as the background. So a little bit more of that, and then the green card, and then the first panel right on top has all of these little fruits stamped right on the front, and then I use the included markers to color those in. I also stamped out "You're my main squeeze," doubled that up using the rectangular little die in the kit, and then the little flower here, it is popped up. You might have trouble seeing there. I think you can see it. So I did stamp and color it 3 times. 2 of them I added to the front of the card, and then for that little bit of dimension I added a little dimensional adhesive behind that topmost flower, The background, by the way, I stamped using the tiniest little flower in the stamp set included. And then on the inside, I added the last little flower. And they all have a tiny bit of glimmer. And there's where I supplemented the coloring, and that was with the Glimmer pen from Tonic Studios. It's an Aquaflow pen that's just clear, but adds a tiny bit of shine. Super cute. And then lastly, this one's hot off the press, so it's still drying. I did the limes with a tiny little lemon on the front, and then I used the greenery and the flowers cut out of the dies. And then the little basket is actually the decorative portion that would go on the top here. I just went ahead and used it as the official basket holding those lemons. And then here it reads, I love you. And I did use some gold mirror card to deboss that sentiment, and then backed it up with just a white piece of card just to help that stand out a tiny little bit. And then use the papers included in the kit. And then I also added the white to decorate that little basket. But it's super adorable. So if you want to follow that tutorial, I'll link that below. That'll be the next video with this kit. But let me know what you think. I did enjoy crafting with this kit as always. It's so much fun. And I do hope that you enjoy this when you receive it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I love reading them. If you're new to my channel, I do invite you to also subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss future videos. And as I always say, I do hope that you can be inspired and be blessed. And I thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.